How's it going, team? This is the Brown Man. I hope all is well. For today, I'm going to be going over my hopes for asymmetrical games in 2024 because we have two asymmetrical games coming out this year. We have Killer Clowns from Outer Space coming out on console and PC, and we have Sanity Chase. Sanity Chase is a mobile game. It's a mobile game that is 2v5. So we have a 3v7 in Killer Clowns and a 2v5 mobile game. Excited, pumped. I will simp for Sanity Chase. I love the art, I love the design, etc. So you guys might hear stuff a little bit in the background as my roommate gets ready, and as dogs, we have two dogs here, Mishka and Rosa. They might bark or do something, but oh well, team, oh well. So let's get into this. There will be timestamps for you guys, and I'm trying to keep the intros as short and sweet as possible. So we need to get something out the way. If you want a live service game, then it has to make money. That's going to come in some form of monetization. That'll be new characters, skins, emotes, whatever the hell it is, but it needs to come. So for those that used to say, or those that still say, back in my day, you pay $60 or $40, you get to get full game. Yes, that's cool for a solo game or a game where most of the entertainment comes from couch play or playing with someone on the second controller to the same console. But as you want people to play online, there has to be some form of consistent monetization. That's just how it is. Not every game dev can make an abundance of games that's live service, and it is what it is. You just have to accept it, okay? Why? Because there's the rate of inflation, right? Those remember, honey buns used to be 10 cents, 15 cents, now it's $1, etc. Just people got to get paid more to go with inflation, and then you have to pay people while they work, right? Because they're consistently working on a live service game, right? So you can't pay someone whatever it is, and then the game be worth way more than what it is than at on release, and then no one's getting paid. It just doesn't work. You're a fool and or a jackass if you think you can just pay one thing for a live service game and be done. I'm just going to be honest with you when it comes to that. But of course, player satisfaction and stuff is what's needed. And then we want to go into that when it comes to the various asymmetrical games. First up, we're going to go into Evil Dead. Evil Dead is my favorite asymmetrical game so far. Very fun gameplay loop. There are some issues, of course. One of the issues is it is not the king of asymmetrical games for several reasons. One, it's a licensed fucking title, so they can't just create things out of their ass like Dead by Daylight can, and getting licensing and stuff is going to be a little bit tricky. Not only that, but it's also a weird setup where you are floating around as a Kandarian demon and you possess 3 different types of units. That's that's not the most translatable thing to other franchises and IPs. It's just not. Just got to be honest with you, right? Dead by Daylight is very simple. We're gonna get into it, Dead by Daylight, when we can. But if people want to wonder certain things, Dead by Daylight is very simple. You play as the character, and then you go out and do certain things. Evil Dead, that's not necessarily the case, and how the demon functions in Evil Dead might not translate well and might not be approved by other license holders. It's just a reality, just because of how it's being done. They'd have to almost create a whole new game mode. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Maybe change voices, but as I said, it's going to be a very hard sell. I do like the class system in Evil Dead. One of the main, or the second main thing would be, as I said, monetization, lack of crossovers, lack of all that stuff. People want crossovers. People like we're in the era of the Avengers. People like that. Evil Dead does not have that. Also, there's a lack of monetized content. There's a lot of stuff that they could monetize, and it seems like they just don't have the vision for it. And as I said, for a live service game, it needs to make money. It is what it is. The content that they gave, the quality is really good. Just it's not consistent, not needed. They need an in-game thing. It's anything less is death. That's just the reality. Also, that last 2 minutes of the game, book breaking. I'm not a fan of book breaking. Even when I play Demon, I don't book break. Uh, Invalidating a whole match based off of that. I'd rather Demons get buffed mid game, mid and late game, but not having a 2 minute make or break. Because then, in some instances, if people just run out of ammo or whatever, like you're fucked. It's just not worth it. I think they got to change that up. Um, so that is the that is that for Evil Dead. And of course, we're gonna go right into DBD. DBD is what people will call the king of asymmetrical games. It started off with his own original characters, and I have to give them props for buying themselves out of Starbreeze. But the issue, of course, is that well, there's several balancing things. One will be Survivor Friends, but the Survivor Friends casual base is, or they are the people that know life this game. They are the people who's most likely going to buy the monetized stuff. So I do understand they don't want to touch Survivor Friends that much, because that will be hitting into the casual base, and that's just not good for their pockets. Just to be honest. Um, the updates seem to be a little lackluster. I'm not quite sure how they handle fog whisperers or people who play really well, who's supposed to be, on the inside. But just for example, the Twins rework or the Huntress rework, or the Huntress update that they wanted to do, where the Huntress doesn't have any slowdown anymore. It was like, I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. But it seems to be that they're making just independent changes, with just devoid of feedback. Even if the changes don't come through, to me, it's still more of a waste of time that they'll do something like that, right? It's a waste of time that that there's so many suggestions in the community that they'll say, hey, we're gonna do, instead of doing A, B, and C, we're gonna do fucking Q, and then we'll hope it works. And it's like, wait a minute, dude, that doesn't make sense, because now you're wasting people's time in a PTB. That's not going to be successful. And then you're going to have to waste another PTB to test some other. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what kind of fucking ego they have. But I think they know that some people will just keep playing Dead by Daylight, no matter what. And as I said, we have Killer Clowns and other ASIMs coming in. Dead by Daylight will be prioritized less and less on my channel. I want to play Survivors on Monday and Killer on Friday. But as better, more fun ASIMs come out, I will definitely be dropping Dead by Daylight maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. It just is what it is. Also, I would say is Perk Reliance. Perk Reliance is another thing that really has a chokehold on Dead by Daylight. When I play Survivor, I enjoy Survivor mostly not just because I play with friends, but because I'm able to run whatever the fuck I want to run. Most of a Survivor's tools is the map itself, but when it comes to killers, depending on what kind of player you're up against, a lot of your tools are actually going to be your perks. So this imbalance makes it so, as I said, survivors can run whatever the fuck they want to run, even no perks, and do well, especially if they have comms, which the devs admitted that they did not balance this game for. They have to. But so yeah, the perk reliance is absolutely weird. There's times where I'll just get completely smoked because I'm not running certain perks as killer, and it's like, bro, I don't want to feel like certain perks are mandatory against, but it's just so oof. And then you have to deal with efficiency. I'm not too sure, but we know. I'm gonna cut this short. We know that Dead by Daylight appeals towards what we'll say more casual audience. We know that there must be some kind of ESG score. For those that don't, you'll look that up. You'll know what it is, or learn what it is. And it seems that they're very much being some kind of a public, I don't know, but we'll say they're babying. I think they're babying a lot of players. Like for example, your rank is detached from your MMR, but your MMR really shows, what rank you are, I think it would be great for them to have ranked matches weekends, and then at the end of the month you get an actual reward just for ranked. Having they can have My Little Oni, they can have all these limited game modes. I'm like, you can definitely make a ranked match only on a weekend. Cool. And then they can do what they did with the Identity 5 and make it so you cannot four-man in a ranked match. You can probably have maybe two people, and then have it so there's actual ranked grade that you have. It can only queue up with people around the same grade, so you can't have, just to mitigate that. And then even for MMR, your matchmaking should go with the people with the highest grade, not something in the middle, right? Like it is what I said, but I think they want to mostly have a casual base, and then uh, you know it's just stuff like that that just makes things a lot difficult with DBD. It makes people have a love-hate relationship with Dead by Daylight, because they're getting all the money, right? They're getting all the money, so that's the dark side of money first, right? When it comes to Sanity Chase, it is a 2v5 game coming out. The 2v5 game coming out is a mobile game where everyone has health, right? The runaways or survivors will have health, and the hunters have health. When the hunters' health run out, they get stunned for X amount of time, and the runaways have the ability to hide at that point, or they have the opportunity to hide. And is it interesting because Sanity Chase, just like Evil Dead, has a team win or loss condition. Dead by Daylight does not have a loss condition, and that is something where they say it's a 4v1 game, but it's actually a 1v1 v1 v1 v1. Sanity Chase, if the majority of survivors escape, once again, it's a 2v5, so the majority will be 3. Then the survivors or the runaways win if a majority escapes. If a minority escapes, right, then it's a loss. Right? There is no half, right? You can't have 2.5 survivors escaping. You can't have someone's fucking torso walk out, right? But there is an interesting thing in Sanity Chase. If you repair the golden loonycocks, like special generators, you'll say, then you can actually tie the game at 2 escapes if you repair these really challenging generators. And of course, there's a ping system in Sanity Chase, and this ping system. So there's some form of communication that's at base, just like in Evil Dead. And they're both 2-team based games, and Dead by Daylight is very far behind, left in the dust in terms of team-based shit. It's like they want the team-based to be like, Discord people or whatever, TT, whatever the fuck it is. But in Evil Dead and Sanity Chase, everyone can work as a team. You can ping, you can talk, you can do that in those kind of games. And there's a team win or loss condition. And that's why, to me, it doesn't really make sense that both sides can win, right? Because in Dead by Daylight, you win based off of you escaping, right? If you escape equals wins, right? So you can have a 3K as a killer, you win, yay, but the one survivor that left to the gate also won. It's a team-based game. Like, you lost, your team lost, bro, right? But in Evil Dead, the team wins or the team loses. In Sanity Chase, the team wins or the team loses. And definitely having a team, we'll say, objectives and team win or loss condition, I believe will help people be a bit more altruistic and take more risk in Dead by Daylight. More dynamic plays, I think, is great, what people are looking for. And that's why I'm looking forward to games like Sanity Chase. Sanity Chase, you can actually, it actually solves mid-game camping, like in Dead by Daylight. Some people don't really, like that, and I understand. But in Sanity Chase, you're actually able to break the cage from far away. So that's interesting. And then we have Killer Clowns from Outer Space, 3v7, another asymmetrical game that's not 4v1. And of course, because it's 3 killers and 7 survivors, I do have hope that they can actually make the 3 clowns very strong. Because the more survivors there are, the stronger proportion that they have to make the killers. And that leads us to an issue in TCM, we have 3v4, and people were absolutely getting murdered, at least at the time that I stopped playing. Because you'll have two people just pinch to strike someone, and the survivor will insta-die. Oof. Very rough. But that is it. I have high hopes for the asymmetrical games this year, and I hope that Dead by Daylight changes, but as it grows, I doubt it will change, and I will be weaning off of Dead by Daylight. And that is that, team. Hope you guys stay safe, stay hydrated, and of course, have a good one.